Good afternoon. I guess we're gonna get started. How are y'all? Y'all ready? How many of you have ever heard about time management before? Like this is, please, dear Lord, don't let her talk about the same thing that everybody since I was in kindergarten talked about. Hopefully I won't. We're gonna start out. Ooh, look, we have a clicker. Okay. Now I have the power. Okay, we're gonna start with the story. Okay, so time management. Not good at it. Okay. This morning, my alarm went off, my little alarm, and I was like, I'm still kind of really tired. So I pushed the snooze button because I was like, I can handle it. I can sleep for another 9 minutes and I'm good. The snooze button didn't go off. So, but I actually woke up about 10 minutes later. Yay, not too bad. Okay, but I'm 10 minutes off already. I have the little notes. So, and then I couldn't find my costume. When I get dressed in the morning, I call this my costume. A lot of times I have costume changes because I can't figure it out, but I can't find a shirt that I really want to wear because I like my shirt. I think my son's girlfriend has it. And then I have to take my animals to the vet. Okay, and I know this, but I'm thinking, I can handle it. I can get it all done. Okay, so my dog, he comes right about here at me, 125 pounds. Very excited about going to the vet. Eventually, this story will come around, hopefully. Okay, so once again, not the best at time management, but I know how to do time management. Okay, and hopefully that's kind of what we're going to talk about today, is how you should focus on time management, because it's not about my skills, which are questionable. It's about your skills. Okay. So first, commitment. I don't know how to use this thing. I didn't last night when I was doing this PowerPoint. Once again, procrastinated, not a good time management person. I didn't know it would have animation in it, but apparently it does. Okay, so you have to be committed to time management. Time management will never work my entire life, and I'm doing it a lot of years old, very old, lots of wrinkles. Okay. Every year I just go, I'm going to do this. This is my New Year's resolution. I'm going to buy this thing that I found on Amazon and it's so cool and that's going to get me going. I'm going to be good. This lovely woman right here works for me. She is like all about her iPad. She's very Gen Z. Yes, yeah. I got it right. Okay, so she takes notes on her iPad and she makes those notes like magically go into a calendar. And I'm like, ooh, I like that. That's really cool. But I know it's not really going to work for me because I could spend the $500 on the iPad and then the iPad would be there, nothing more than a glorified Kindle. So you got to be willing, okay? You're going to fail more often than you succeed, but you have to be willing. If you're not willing to set the habit, if you're not willing to make the work to time management or the work to task manage, it doesn't really matter. Thank you so much. Have a good day. You have to put the cursor over here and then click. That's what the man said. Okay, time versus task. Okay, I'm not going to read to you. You guys are smart people. I am not that kind of person, but I am going to read my own notes. Okay, so here's another story. Time versus task. My husband, Lord love him, he does the laundry a lot. I'm very good. Okay, but he is very task oriented. Okay, so when he does the laundry, he's got 10 minutes in the morning. He puts it in the mornings, and then he's thinking in the evenings he'll get to it. He'll put it in the dryer, then he'll fold it. Very task oriented, and he will in the evenings remember to do it. I, on the other hand, am very time oriented when it comes to tasks. Okay, so I will not do the laundry unless I know that I can wash it, I can dry it, and I can fold it. If I don't have time, I don't do it. Okay, so which is right? Any guesses? Like what the experts say? Anyone? So we have tasks. I almost brought little yes and no, thumbs up, thumb down, and I didn't do it. Y'all could play that game, but I failed and didn't bring them. So we got a few tasks. How about times? You say time wasting.
That's just how we're doing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So the experts, the people that do all the research, because I'm a good teacher, knock on wood. So half of them went, oh yeah, task. You got to do task. And the other half, you got to do time. I think you got to be you. You be you. Okay. When my husband does the task management, doing the laundry, right? Sometimes he irritates me because the next thing I do this morning, when I was looking for my shirt, I go to where the laundry is and I think, I'm going to find my shirt there. I find a pile of clothes just sitting on a couch. Okay, so that's where his task management fails me. Eventually he'll get to it or I'll get to it, right? That's what task management gets us sometimes, not always, right? Sometimes we cannot follow through for all the steps. However, if you do time management like I do, I don't do the laundry as often as he does because I'm waiting for that hour and a half, because 55 minutes, actually I guess 2 hours, 55 minutes to wash, 55 minutes to dry, and then I still have to hang them up, so on and so forth. So really, it is thyself, know thyself. Everybody got time versus task? Easy, easy. Not rocket science. Still not. Oh, no.
That was
To thy
me.
own, what?
That was me.
Okay, so let me make sure I said everything that I wanted to do. Give me that again. Okay, I did. Hear me. Okay, to thy own self be true, which is the other slide. But that's okay, because that's all it says. Okay, here's where you have to know who you are. And you have to be kind of brutal about who you are. Are you a paper kind of person? Are you a paper and a pencil kind of person? And research says paper and pencil people actually process skills faster, little note-taking thing, okay? Are you a phone app kind of person? That's a sticky note kind of person, loves her sticky notes. Stephanie loves her sticky notes. I get to buy a lot of sticky notes. Are you a whiteboard kind of person? I also have different styles. Like for my family, we have 2 months calendar whiteboard that we switch. Every month we move up. So I know what's happening in my family every single month. Don't always pay attention to it because, once again, not the greatest time management. I actually tried to schedule an event for the college the day after my son was getting married because I have difficulty compartmentalizing my life. Or I don't have difficulties. I do it quite regularly. So are you time versus task? And what are your goals to doing time management? Are you just worried about your schoolwork? Are you worried about your home life? Are you trying to figure out how you can get exercise in your very busy day? So that's where you have to personally decide, what is my goal to time management? It could be what is my goal for the day? What is my goal for the semester, for the month? Okay. Commitment. Okay, now we're on schedule, right? Okay, if you don't have time for it in your day, it doesn't belong in your task list or your to-do list. Okay, if I want to go exercise today and I don't have the hour because I have an English paper that's due, then either change my expectations or it doesn't belong on my day today, or it doesn't belong in my week, it doesn't belong in whatever. And you have to be brutally honest with yourself, because you will fail at time management or task management if what you're doing is you're having expectations. I have my 100 lists, I'm going to get them all done this today. Well, that's not going to happen. So at the end of the day, you feel horrible about yourself and you go, this is stupid, this doesn't work. Okay, you have to be brutally honest about what you can achieve, what you want to achieve, and the time you have to achieve it in. And fortunately or unfortunately, don't neglect, just because you're being honest, don't neglect your have-tos, which especially as students are going to be your papers and you're turning in and doing my homework. It's due on Sunday. All right, this is the one most Gen Zers hate. The big lie. And Gen Zers hate this one because I work with just Gen Zers. I work with high school students. I guess they're actually now Gen pain in my butt. Okay. They'll tell me I can multitask. I can do my homework while I'm listening to music. I can do my homework when the television is on, and I know exactly what's going on. She does that to me. The science says you cannot. Okay, the science absolutely says your brain does not work that way. So as much as you would want to multitask, now if you're sitting in a room like this and you're eating lunch and listening to me drone on about time management, that's multitasking, but the lunch is not taking brain power. You could argue, well, music doesn't take brain power. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, when you're listening to music, because that's usually what Gen Zers do, right? They want to do their homework, they want the music on. That is a right brain activity. Your homework and your study is a left brain activity. Have you guys ever been reading an article and the music's on in the background and then you realize you have no idea what song just played? Yes, no? Okay, it's because it doesn't work. Good example of that is driving. You're driving along and then you get to your destination and you go, I don't remember that drive. Sometimes that's really scary. Am I crazy? Am I the only one that happens to?
No.
Y'all want to know why that happens? Because driving is a right brain activity. Okay, it's an artistic activity. And so your brain that logically thinks about things kind of turns off and goes, I'm going to let that part of my brain take it. That's why you don't always remember the drive home. Okay, it's not really a scary thing because your brain is still engaging. Okay, same thing with multitasking. You cannot ask your brain to do two things at once. It's impossible. So try really hard, have it written down, to do one thing at a time. I think I am. Oh, I thought this was interesting because I stole most of this from Harvard and Princeton and all of that stuff. So they said you pay a cognitive price when you multitask. And eventually, if you constantly multitask, your brain starts getting really tired. Okay, so don't do it. Yeah, thank you. Block out time. I have to turn the page down. Turn too many pages in my excitement. Okay, your syllabus in this becomes really important for students. Okay, your syllabus is supposed to be your contract between your professor and yourself. If it's on the syllabus, it's gonna be due. Technically speaking, and some professors might tell them that I'm wrong. So go ask your professor. They're all sitting over there in Dr. Ebay's thing, as he wins. So most colleges will tell you, and I don't know the rule at Weatherford College. It's the only reason I'm telling you, but I know the rules at college in general. Your syllabus is your contract between you and your professor. If it's on the syllabus, it's due. If it's not on the syllabus, the professor should not ask for it. I cannot promise at all, professors out there, please don't be angry at me. I cannot promise that is true at Weatherford College because all colleges get to make their own decisions. So if it's on my syllabus, I'm going to put it on my calendar. Then I'm going to work backwards, right? I'm going to decide the progress. I'm going to decide the pace. I'm going to decide how much time I have to devote for it. Generally speaking, if you take 1 hour of class, you're supposed to be studying for 2 hours. So a 3-hour class, you're studying for higher math, 6 hours, right? How many of you study English for 6 hours above and beyond the 3 hours? Yeah, me.
Christine.
She probably did.
Yeah.
Because she's
Dr. Atkins wants to talk.
Oh, Dr. Atkins. She's gonna probably correct me or tell me absolutely you're right.
You're right.
Hey, Dr. Atkins, can you hear us?
Hey, yeah.
What do you want to tell us, especially about the syllabus? Hopefully.
Well, I mean, it's like your Bible for the course. You've got, please forgive me, I've got COVID. So
Oh
I'm
my
not
gosh.
sick. But anyway, yes, I mean, I tell my students, you have got to follow the syllabus. You've got to keep that course schedule in front of you. And if you don't do it as it needs to be done, then you're going to get behind.
Yep,
Yes, ma'am.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Thank you, ma'am. I hope you get to feeling
Yeah,
better.
we hope you feel better. Thank
I
you for
feel fine.
telling them how important it is.
So that's a faculty member. So now we know your syllabus is your contract. I had a student go to George Washington University a couple years ago in Washington, DC. In his first semester, he did okay, but not great. Then the second semester, he found this little app that he would put in all his syllabus assignments, and then the app actually backtracked for him, kind of. And he had to fix it, and it gave him reminders. And he said it changed the way he does school. Okay, next slide. What time? What minute is that? Is that the next slide?
No, here it is.
First things first. Now, I did that was hilarious, but I have a weird sense of humor. We're gonna go back to my dog. Okay, so my dog up to here, huge, furry as anything. My son, my youngest son, when we were getting a new dog, I wanted big, and I want white, and I want fuzzy. And of course, I got a Great Pyrenees, which was all three. Okay, so you put on his harness, which is no easy task, and he gets all excited because he knows he's going somewhere. Of course, the only place he ever goes is the vet, so I don't know why he gets so excited, but he does. So now my dog is really excited. He's like, I get to go, I get to go, I get to go. And I haven't put on my shoes. I don't even know where my shoes are because, once again, not organized. So I have to go into my bedroom, find my shoes, which happen to be under my bed. And my dog is next to me the entire time going, I want to go, I want to go, I want to go. My clothes were full. I'm glad I didn't wear black. They were so, I might as well have had another dog on me when I got to work. So but then I also had to learn the lesson. I also had to take the cat to the vet at the same time, to drop off and thing. Okay, so I have my cat in the carrier, which was no easy feat, but I managed to do it. Okay, got my dog, and I'm ready to walk out the door. I also got everything in my hands, and I'm like, this is the dumbest choice that I could ever make. Because my $125 dog is gonna go, I'm going to the car. And the cat is gonna wind up on the floor because I'm being dragged behind this 120-pound dog. Okay, so I put everything down. Dog and I went to the car. He gets in the car, great. He listens to me. All I have to tell him his car, and he gets in, went back inside, got the cat, got my stuff, put the cat in the back of the vehicle, and off we went. Okay, so first things first, my shoe example, if I had thought about it, I would have put my shoes on first, then put the thing on my dog. I have actually two dogs. You can't put the collars on them at the same time or they get too excited. It's a whole fiasco. Always put first things first. Okay, next. Any questions, comments? Pretty obvious. Done this, heard that. We do appreciate you being here. I could not find a picture for a routine, so baby coyote, cute. I think it's cute. Okay, so the science says it takes 30 days to build a routine. I'm 50 years old, 55 years old. See, trying to make myself younger. The 30 days, I'm still waiting on this 30 days. 55 years into this. Because I know we've all heard it. My snooze button is a good example. Okay, so I hit my snooze button, right? Hit the alarm went off, hit snooze, and soon they go off, but it didn't go off. But my brain went off 10 minutes later. It knew to wake me up 10 minutes later because it is such a routine. Okay, that's the way our brain works. So the more routine you put into your habits, the more commitment, once again, first slide, you put into creating those habits, they will just happen, right? And I know that's where I failed. I know that my commitment level to my routine is not as great as my desire to be the best time management person in the whole wide world, which I'm not. But it works. Next slide, please, ma'am. Flexibility. Okay, I think I like this picture a lot because you never know. This gentleman, even though you can't really see it, it looks like he's working on his calendar. And that kid is like, I'm helping dad. That's where flexibility comes into play, right? Don't schedule everything. Leave yourself some wiggle room. Okay, or drop some tasks. A good example of this was the other day, I had to have a federal budget to the feds soon. And so my task is to go to high schools and visit my students, but I let my staff do that day because I knew I had to have the wiggle room. So I had to drop something. That's what I chose to drop, right? Then I still, unfortunately, I had another student email me and say, hey, can you look over this essay? I really need it done because I'm applying for this fellowship. So that entire morning, I was doing that. This morning, once again, because time management, not my best, I'm still putting slides on this thing, even though prior to that, I had to deal with something else for my job, and I had about an hour to fix this, but I still had enough wiggle room, even despite my mess up with my dogs, right, to get it all done. So give yourself some leeway. Too cute. All right, respond versus react. Obviously, this picture up here is reacting. This is responding. Okay, so when things go to crap, pause. Think. I have to exercise, a lot of students have to exercise every single day. Have to. Okay, but I have an English paper due. So let's figure out how we can shorten workout, how we can change workout. Can we move workout to get whatever we need to do? So that is responding, as opposed to my whole day is shot to hell because I can't get what I have to do done. Hang on, before you move it, let me make sure. Reduce, rearrange. Don't let your own personal mind games mess up your time schedule, because we know we get mad at ourselves, right? And that's when we react. And they are our personal mind games. Nobody's yelling at you. Hopefully nobody's yelling at you. That's where you have to say, you know what, I'm not going to yell at myself. I'm going to respond to the situation instead of reacting to the situation. Okay. Environment. This one is a big one for me, not because of this. I'm big at trying to organize my environment. So at work, when I think about my space, I used to work in a job in financial aid where it was very rote. The daily tasks were always the daily tasks, but they were huge daily tasks, like paperwork, right? And so when I finished the paperwork, I had to have spots on my desk where they went, because I know, once again, not a very organized person. And because there was so much paperwork in that job, if I didn't organize it on the back end, I was going to be in huge trouble. The job that I'm currently in is not a rote job, changes all the time. Week to week, we do different things. We have other things come up. We're planning constantly, okay? So I need to make sure that I'm organized. My biggest organization is my federal budget, because if I mess up the money, the feds take our grant away, and then 55 kids are mad at me because their meal ticket is gone. Okay, so I make sure every time I spend money, it goes in that little shelf right there. Without fail, it goes in that little shelf right there. Okay, our share drive on that we use as a team, they have slots. We get it organized. They know what they're supposed to do every single week in order to meet the tasks of the grant. Okay, so that's like a physical organization, right? So you also might have a family organization or a people organization. So how are the people in your environment, how are they able to help you actually solve your problems instead of screwing up your problems? Lupe has a sister, Bernice. Lupe's house is very, very active. I tell all our high school students, especially ones that have active home lives. When you're home, tell your family, this is study time. Back to the routine. Every single Sunday, I'm studying, leave me alone. This is as if I'm in college. But for her family life, that is very difficult. Am I wrong? No. Okay. So tell Bernice, don't leave. Don't go home. Don't go back to your dorm. If you're going to be tempted to raise your refrigerator constantly, I'm working, I'm doing great, I need a drink. And then I'm working, oh, the mail's here. Working, television.
That's
I
what
don't like this episode of Friends. Let me change it.
Remember, that's what I do when I get off work.
Yes, she stays at work all the time. She's working on the bachelor's program in leadership. And she stays at work. She may be up here until 10 o'clock, but she knows as soon as she goes home, that little puppy of hers, which is absolutely adorable and not 100 pounds, she's not going to pay attention to anything except television and the puppy dog. On the weekends, why I was incredibly late with procrastinated because Boulder's Gate 3 all weekend long. I'm going to beat that dang game. Okay, so that goes back to environment. I have to find myself where I'm at in this lovely little piece of paper. And then once again, be brutal. To thine own self be true. Okay, what is your environment that's messing up your time management? What is your skills that are messing up your time management or task management? What is your family? Is it your friends? A myriad of things, right? Set priorities. Okay, so somebody that is much more intelligent than I am decided, I think it was Covey. We all know 700 habits. 7 habits of highly effective people. This is another book he wrote, made millions. I wish I was him. Okay, so you have urgent and not urgent. You have important, not important. Urgent, my bathroom blowing up. Pick up children from school. Yeah, that's urgent. Not urgent, what do they have? Dentist appointment. Yeah, I hate that one. Coworkers email. My students, my high school students hate me because I don't answer texts. Because I wasn't born in a text kind of world. And so they text me and they think, well, that's urgent. And I go, I'll get to that later. Next thing I know, haven't gotten to it. Days later. Then they're texting Lupe. Not important. Help with son's homework, it's debatable. Pull weeds from the flower beds, absolutely. For me, that is not important. It might be urgent, not really. Respond to social media comments. For some of us, that's urgent and important. I love posting on Facebook to my upper down group. I don't know why, it just makes me happy. So we can all see, but the experts, once again, the experts, the researchers, they will tell you that what is most important in your life isn't always urgent. We have a tendency to respond to urgent, not necessarily important. So be brutal with yourself. Be to thine own self be true. Decide and be honest. Yes, pick up your child from school. That is both important and urgent. I would say you have to almost drop everything and get them in, right? Okay, but what if you're supposed to drop off your pick up your kid from school because he's sick? Okay, but the 100-pound stupid dog steps on a nail and it goes, punctures his foot and now he's bleeding everywhere. That becomes more urgent, right? I'm sure kid can wait, hopefully a little bit. My English important. English paper, very important. If you've done your time management right, it's not necessarily urgent because I've scheduled myself. So you have to look at each task as what you have to do and what you personally want to do, because we also want to have some fun time in there. I mean, we might want to have some religious time in there. Definitely want a nap or two. That's my favorite. Going to the movies. Lupe's going tomorrow night, I think she said, right? Dog time. We have to have some fun in our lives, or what's it up for? I think it's the next slide. Oh, wait, no set priorities. This is it. Okay, so I'm gonna have to tattle on my husband a little bit. He used to, and this has to do with urgent or important. Okay. Several years ago, way long time ago, driving would make him nervous. So we used to live in Snyder, Texas, in the middle of nowhere. And we drove to McKinney, Texas, where my parents lived. And the psychology of driving, and this was like blew my mind when I heard this. So most people, when they drive, and the next time you drive, look at the traffic pattern. There will be a bunch of cars here, and there will be a bunch of cars here, and nothing in the middle. Because my husband was always urgent because he was not scared of traffic, but he didn't like traffic, especially in Dallas. He would hurry up and get to the next group of people, and then he'd go, I gotta get in front of him, because then I'll feel better. He'd rush in front of him, and then he's next to the other group, right? That's the urgency in his brain. But the important part in his brain should have been, where am I safest? Where am I happiest? I love to speed. So I might be dashing up in between cars. I'm not unsafe, but I still like my car. I like it when it goes. Okay. But he will still tell you to this day that was hugely eye-opening when I told him the psychology of drivers, and all of a sudden he found that spot in between. This is 20 years ago, maybe even 30 years ago, because I don't think our kids were born yet. He will still tell me every once in a while, remember that time that you said, I still do that. Like he wants a little cookie and be patted on the back, right? Difference between urgent and important. When I feel good, because when he teaches, he talks about me a lot. So now it's paid back. So I have to tell some horrible stories about him. Maybe we'll get there. Time wasters. Okay, so what are some of y'all's time wasters? TikTok. TikTok. Oh my gosh. I tell myself 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm gonna get to one funny one and then I'm gonna stop. And then I'm gonna be funny. But wasn't quite funny enough. And let me get funny too. Okay, that was kind of funny, but I bet the next one will be funny. Next thing it's 5 o'clock in the morning, you're going, what the heck? People that work, oh Lord, love a duck, email. I know Arlene's probably on the other side of that screen going, oh yes. You're working and you're thinking, I'm in the group, but you get bored. You go, I can't look at another grade from a high school student that's failing English. I'm going to see what's happening in emails. Emails can be a huge time waster, especially when people are talking on emails. Hopefully y'all haven't gotten there yet, but when you get into your professional life, we don't have communications anymore. We just have emails. So we actually have a conversation over emails. And if you're the third party with that, in that conversation, you may have nothing to do with it, but you're reading it anyway, because we have to, look. Unexpected visitors to our homes, to our workplace. When our students show up, the ones that have graduated, I love them dearly, but oh my gosh, they talk a lot and they don't leave. And I have to get something done, but I love them and I don't want to tell them no. Meetings, sorry, Dr. Trinivieski, if you're watching this later, because I don't think you're here right now. Meetings can be a big time waster, because that could have been an email. Family obligations, and for me, Baldur's Gate 3. And what else for anybody else? Nothing.
Movies.
Time wasters. So good. Netflix.
Netflix. Hulu.
I don't know. That kind of is my decompression time. I love to watch a good movie. Million Mile. It's a good movie. Yeah. Not well written and not well acted, but yeah, I found myself crying a couple times. It's about the Jose Hernandez story, so highly recommended. Elemental, surprisingly. So that's just a side tip for y'all. Elemental, especially if you're a child of an immigrant. Very good movie. I'm waiting for Barbie to be cheap enough where I can afford it.
It's good.
All right, so the big one, the finale. How in the heck? I know, because y'all shook your head across the board. I've heard this. I'm so tired of going to things and people telling me to organize myself. They're telling me to get into a routine. I know how to do that. Thank you so much. Next one. Do that know self be true once again. I can tell you, I could even show you. I could have spent the last 45 minutes showing you all of these great. We go to meetings all the time and seminars and workshops where the speaker comes up and goes, I want to show you how to do this. And you go, oh my gosh, that's so cool. I want that program. So I write it down. Okay, he shows it to me for 10 minutes. Then he goes on to the next really cool thing, band app. And then he goes on to the next really have flip card. I go, ooh, flip card. My students would really love that. Quizlet, oh, my students. Next thing I know, I have this huge list. And because that is time management, I'm never going to go back and look at them, even though I should, right? So I could have shown you like what Forbes tells you are the best apps to use, but it doesn't matter. You have to find the best apps for you. Okay, so Google. So you can go online and you can go best apps for student productivity. Okay, and then you read their decisions, or you just go, I'm just going to look at number one because it's number one for a reason. Okay, and look at it and go, you know what? That is my personality. That is absolutely who I am, because my phone is going to make the most horrendous noise at me when it's time to pick up my dog. It's not really, but right, if that works for you, that works for you. If paper works for you, there's Papier. Never heard of it. Apparently, 25% or 20% discount. Moleskine, my old boss, Jeff Calden, used to love his Moleskine notebooks, and he would fold the pages nice and neat. And I don't know how he did it, but he could find you anything. His desk was a horrible mess. But if you asked him something, he'd go, oh yeah, that's that pile right there. And he could produce the papers. So he loved his Moleskines. No rhyme or reasons how he did it, but he used them brilliantly. Bullet journals, notations, Evernote. Evernote, if you don't know, has, you can write notes on fancy paper. You take a picture of it and it digitizes it. I'm pretty sure it's not a word. Digitizes it for you into your computer so you can go look at it later. Unfortunately, you do have to have the fancy pen and the fancy paper, which is probably cheaper. YouTube University. I'm loving YouTube University. When I first heard that term, I was like, what the heck is that? So I went and looked. It really just means YouTube. If you want to learn something, go to YouTube. If you're the type of person who loves different color pens, I want to see my schedule. I want to have urgent things in red. I want to have pink. I want to have green things, which mean money. I want to have, but I don't know how to do it. Go to YouTube. And if you don't like the YouTube, change it. That's also a study trick. I'm studying math, and my math teacher, I have no idea what that math teacher might as well have been talking to me in French. And I go to YouTube and I look at the video and go, oh, got it. Or it took me 2 seconds to figure out that person that's trying to teach me what math teacher tried to teach me. I have no idea what he's talking about. So you probably could have gotten a 10-minute version of this 45-minute presentation on YouTube and probably gotten more out of it. So sorry. And then finally, trial and error. Like I said, I had this little whiteboard pencil holder thing that I bought a couple months ago, and I'm like, I'm going to write all my to-do lists on there. As I do, I'm going to mark them on. The first month worked really well, but if you go today to that little thing behind all my computers, it still has the same stuff that I put on a year ago, because while I did erase some of it, I didn't go back and update it, because once again, do not practice what I teach. Next. Okay, so I like this one because cute parent teaching coyotes. So every coyote must learn how to howl, which means you got to do it yourself, right? There are people that can teach you. Some great teachers over there. One of them I absolutely know. She teaches this all the time because she's very similar to Up or Down, okay, which is the program I teach in. But you have to learn to do it for yourself. You have to, the parent can tell you, this is how I do it, this is with your friends, whatever, but you have to learn to be you. And I finished.
Dr. Atkins wanted to tell the students that for every hour they are in class, they should allow 2 hours outside of class for reading assignments, etc. Most of them laugh at her every time she says that. Just so you know, Dr. Atkins reiterates what Christine just told y'all.
That is 100% a true statement. The best study is about 2 hours for every single face-to-face. I just thought of another study tip, which has nothing to do with Sundays. Oh, Sundays. especially if you go onto a 4-year university, this is if you're going on a 4-year campus, especially if you're in the dorm or you're in your apartment or something, and it's crazy. Like Saturday night has happened. We all know what happened to me. Your mates are just, snoring away or whatever. But the best time to study is Sunday morning. Get up, go to campus, find a quiet spot, go to the library, take your Sunday paper, your coffee. It's spectacular. You'd be surprised how quiet and peaceful it is. It's a wonderful time to study, which was not the thing that I thought of. Oh, I do remember. Professors probably aren't going to like me for this one either. Your 4.0, Stephanie, close your ears. It's great. Okay. And it will earn you scholarships on the back end, the 3.75. They will earn you scholarships if you go on to a 4-year institution. Midwestern State University, if you're in PTK, they automatically give you a $2,000 scholarship. I believe it's $1,000 and $1,000 per semester, automatically, no questions asked. Okay, so your GPA is important. However, so is your life. When you get out in the world, you get your first job, nobody's going to care what your GPA was. I tell my students all the time, you know what C stands for? You get a grade C. Anyone?
Complete degree.
Means college. Now D, however, I also tell them means degree, but that's not always true, so don't quote me on that one. Okay. I'm not trying to tell you to make bad grades. I'm telling you to be realistic. Okay, and be brutal. And to be yourself. And if it means, you know what, I got to accept that B in English because my kid needs me at a soccer game. Go be with your kid, right? Or I got to accept that B or C in math because Boulder Gate is calling me and I love my husband dearly and we love to game together, right? Hopefully that won't happen because you're going to schedule all your time and it'll be perfect and you won't be like me and everybody will get 4.0s. I managed as disorganized as I am in my head and in my life to get okay grades. I was a theater major, doesn't count, I give A's to everybody. What? So one thing with my students, and I know a lot of y'all, I know a lot of our programs I work with too, that you may not like to speak to 20-year-old students, you know, your moms, your dads, your trying to shuffle 2 jobs, like healthcare programs, things like that. You know, the one thing that we tell you is to schedule that time to play with your kids, your dogs, or whatever, because some of our students are so busy, they're not going to. But then it's kind of like being on a diet, starving yourself this whole time, and then you're craving for you eat out. So still scheduling in, even if it's 15 minutes, we'll do our breaks, we'll say, I'll take a study break, and we do 15 minutes of maybe we get over the dog, don't deprive yourself of saying because they will catch up with you, but when you're scheduling everything else, schedule some time with whatever your family is. Like I said, watching the video, that would help you teach them. More brain science. Your brain only actually learns for about 30 minutes, and then it goes, I'm done. You can keep studying, you can keep reading, you can keep whatever, but set yourself an alarm, 30 minutes. I get up, I'm reading my science history, I get up for 15 minutes, I'm gonna do whatever, multi-grade street. Okay, or what, and then I'm gonna go back to it. Right? Brain science is pretty interesting. Once again, Patriot University, if you're really curious of how your brain works, and especially in regards to time management or task management, it's pretty incredible. There will be somebody out there that will teach that and you'll go, oh, got it. And then there'll be other people that you go, oh, this guy is a complete moron. You flip past it and you go to the next video. So yeah, instead of TikToking, young lady, YouTube. She's crazy. I can get off of her information about TikTok. She goes, did you know this is happening? I say, yeah, because I read the article. It's like Gen X, Gen Z. That's it.
Any questions?
Thank you all very, very much for giving up your time. I know some of you are doing it because my teacher said so, but I very much appreciate it a lot. And I hope maybe you have one little thing. Hopefully, if not, maybe some great drawings on your tablets.
Awesome.
No, we don't need to.